Hello and welcome to our Advent series, All Creation Waits, the Advent Mystery of New Beginnings by Gayle. Today, Advent 24, we'll be hearing about the lake trout. But first, hear these words from British poet T.S. Eliot. We must be still and still moving into another intensity for a further union, a deeper communion through the dark cold and the empty desolation. The wave cry, the wind cry, the vast waters of the petrel and the porpoise. In my end is my beginning. Advent 24, Lake Trout. 800 feet on a pier in northern Lake Michigan, I wince against the sleet and spray stinging my feet. Every Christmas Eve I come back here. It's the place I first called home. Still the surging gray tonnage bashing headlong against the breakwater, against the long-suffering shore, rattles me to the bone. Somewhere below the uproar glides a silver fish, speckled in ivory. She welcomes the tumultuous waves and the cold. Tumult and cold mix more oxygen into the water, and cold, oxygen-rich water brought lake trout here in the wake of receding glaciers. Rich breathing is better to her than any particular food. Though she will swim the 300-mile length of the Great Lake looking for the small fish she prefers, if she doesn't find enough of them, she'll simply switch to tiny shrimp or insects. And if these go missing, she'll choose to be vegetarian, consenting thereby to grow more slowly. Darwin and other scientists since have thought her species to be perhaps the most flexible, most adaptive vertebrate on Earth. Now, in early winter, she's at her ease. In other seasons, she will sometimes follow small fish into water warmer than her internal organs like, choosing to bear the stress for the sake of the food that satisfies her best. Or she may spare herself the stress and eat less nutritious fare. Always she's aware of the trade-off and of having to choose. But in winter, the warmer water, which the small fish follow, is not much more than 40 degrees Fahrenheit, a temperature just right for her body. Bathed in comfort with ample food besides, she can relax. She relaxes alone. 6 or 8 weeks ago, she lived her communal life. It lasted a few days. In late fall, when she felt the water cool, an irrepressible urge rose in her and lake trout everywhere to return to their first homes, the beds where they hatched. Half of the hatching beds in Lake Michigan are straight out from this pier. It's not temperature or depth or clarity that makes these waters so hospitable a first home. It's not the food supply. It's the rocks. Limestone cobbles the size of doorknobs and soup bowls heaped 6 or more feet thick. Some on shoals, some on the bottom of deep trenches. From all ends of the lake, the fish massed here. Through the night, males and females swam over the great rock piles where they had first come awake, silver slides pressed together. When the female swam away and resumed her solitary lake wandering, she left behind thousands of fertile eggs, fallen from her body into crevices between the cobbles. It's a kind of faith this shining fish practices, returning, perhaps from a vast distance, to plant life in the place where she came to life. It's faith in the goodness of the rocks, their sheltering crannies, their cold water cradles. She tucked her eggs there, away from predators, away from churning currents. Then she's left. She's done all she can do. Vital but dormant, the eggs wait, as she once waited, until winter ends. It's what they must do to wake. As you listen to this story of the trout, what about it caught your attention? What might the trout be teaching you about wading through times of cold and dark, of trusting that new light will indeed come, of the call to return to places where you feel at home and do whatever it is that you are called to do there? Take a moment to prayerfully consider these questions, along with, how might God be leading you? What might God be asking of you? I invite you to take a moment to prayerfully share your insights, questions, thoughts, concerns with God, remembering that the dark is not an end, it's a door. It's the way a new beginning comes. Amen.